Hi, this is Mobile Max, and it's September 8th, 2025. It's Monday. You all see on television all these advertisements for Proposition 50, a Democratic proposition to reverse what 2008 voters did and give redistricting of congressional and Senate and other political seats back to the legislature. Let me read this to you. In 2008, California voters took a decisive step toward improving the performance of the dysfunctional state legislature by approving Proposition 11 and taking redistricting authority from Assembly and Senate seats away from politicians and giving it to an independent commission. Okay, now what do they want to do? Oh, they want to get rid of the Democrats. This is why they got Proposition 50. They want to get rid of the independent commission and let the Democrats redraw the voting districts. So that why? So they can get more Democrats in the legislature and in the federal congressional seats. More, and the reason for this is in reaction to what the Texas did in redistricting by the Republicans. You know what? If the voters voted for an independent commission, I think independent and objective commission is a whole lot better than crooked Democrats controlling this. I used to vote for Democrats, but not anymore. They turned, this recently, like the last 5 or 6 years, they've turned into gangsters, fucking gangsters. They diminished, and this is not just in big cities in California, but all over the country, the Democrats running these big cities have totally diminished and defunded the police departments. Do you know, this is a good example. Just recently, a few weeks ago, federal authorities, federal police had to arrest this Hoover Street criminal gang. This was a terrible criminal gang operating in Los Angeles. They had prostitutes walking up and down Figueroa Street in LA for years. And LAPD and LA County Sheriffs did nothing. Why? Because the Democratic leaders are for the criminals. That's the only thing I can figure. Anyway, this Hoover Street criminal gang, what they did was terrible. They recruited young women from the foster system, the Los Angeles County foster system, where children have no parents, so they're given to foster care. And they recruited these young women, some as young as 14 years old, to become prostitutes. And they even, in some cases, branded them to certain pimps. They put a tattoo on them saying, "You belong to Big Jim" or something. Anyway, this terrible gang was allowed to operate for years. Why? Because the communist Democrats allowed it to happen by defunding and diminishing our police forces. It had to be a federal police organization that arrested these terrible criminals who were abusing young girls. I don't care about these Democrats anymore. It must be true in all these big cities: New York, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, Oakland. They all had police that were defunded and diminished. What they did was they took out loyal, hard-working, law and order policemen, in a lot of cases who were white, and replaced them with sycophants. People who would agree with everything that the Democratic bosses wanted them to agree with. And all they do now in Los Angeles is chase runaway drivers. And a lot of times these runaway crazy mad people are getting away. That's what LAP does now. It's like a janitorial firm. They just clean up after the fact. Very few investigations into criminal behavior and criminal organizations. You rarely see a big bust by the LAPD or by the LA County Sheriffs anymore. They've been totally diminished and destroyed by the current communist Democratic regime. You think me calling Karen Bass a communist is just a salacious lie? Nope. Check on the facts. When Karen Bass, mayor of Los Angeles, was much younger, she was an avowed communist. Do you know Karen Bass in her young days, went to Cuba 15 times. That's right, Karen Bass went to Cuba 15 times to confer with Fidel Castro and other top-level Cuban communists. And her aim was to stop the American blockade or the American sanctions, which gave nothing to Cuba and got rid of any type of economic relationship with Cuba. Anyway, Karen Bass was a communist. Once a communist, always a communist. And that's how I see them running the city, every city. Of course crime's going to go up. Crime's going to go way up. When the police can't touch anybody, everybody's got big rights, then criminals go wild. This is any big democratic city, the criminals have gone wild. Why don't you see it? Because the lousy liberal media, they shouldn't even be called media anymore, because they don't cover the news. All these ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, PBS, they're all super liberal. Everything that comes out of their mouth is Trump did this and Trump did that. President Trump this, President Trump that. They're a political arm of the Democratic Party, because that's all they talk about. Every time I turn on the news, what is going on? Oh, they're talking about how terrible President Trump is. How Jeffrey Epstein and Trump had a relationship, and he sent him a postcard for his birthday or some such shit. Jeffrey Epstein died 6 years ago in prison. Whether he was murdered, he committed suicide, nobody knows, because the videotape of the cell Jeffrey Epstein went in has a 2-minute blank period. Somebody erased 2 minutes of it. So something fishy definitely happened. Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein's an old story. Bill Clinton went to Jeffrey Epstein's island. So, you know, there was a lot of important people back then who had relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. So, get over it. The man's dead. I'm tired of the damn Democrats. These new liberal communist Democrats, they run our states and cities into the ground. All they care about is borrowing money. Oh, money sources, that's what they think about. What about the homeless money? The LA City Agency, remember, they were sued recently, and the judge ordered an audit. And when they audited the city agency handling homeless, they couldn't figure out where all the money went because the city agency refused to give them any documents. How can they get away with this? Taxpayer money the city, Los Angeles City Agency of the Homeless was dealing with. How can they just say, hey, we don't have any evidence, we don't know where it is, just like a gangster would. And then, you know what they did after that? They got attorneys to represent them. They haven't been indicted or anything, or even personally sued. But they're getting attorneys paid by the taxpayer. Unbelievable. And you know what happened to the LA City Agency that diverted and misspent billions of homeless dollars? The judge ordered a quarterly report. Oh no, wow, they really punished them. They got to make a quarterly report now. It's unbelievable. These judges, the whole system is corrupt. LA is a corrupt, gangster-orientated city now. I bet it's got one of the highest crime rates in the nation. But naturally, liberal media won't cover it. They only cover it if a white guy is a criminal. Oh, look at the white guy. He robbed this and did that. The white guy. Only the white guy. And you got any black criminals? Oh, we don't talk about that. I'm tired of this new liberal, democratic, communist system. I can't take it anymore. And the media, the commercials, the actors, the movies, the series. Hey, if you're a straight white guy, forget about being an actor. Forget about being a news reporter. There's no jobs for you. Only gay white men and white women and lots of blacks, new blacks. All I see is commercials and news broadcasts. All I see are black faces. So this whole culture is going to hell in a handbasket if you ask me. All right, that's all I got to say.